Hey everybody, it's SCP-CRNP, aka Skip Snurp, aka Lack of Lepers. How's it going? Thank you so much for joining tonight on our Tuesday night reaction series stream. Let me just make sure that all my settings are good. Good. Hope you're doing well. I really do. Hope you're doing swell. Wow, what a busy few weeks. Obviously, we are in the thick of it, thick of 7K, and so that has been quite a lot of work. That work continues. We're doing all kind of stuff. We're posting past KCON analyses to the Config magazine this month. We're doing our Friday stream, trying to catch up with all the 100 and I think it's 30 entries in the contest. So that's going to be kind of a slow and steady pace, but I think we'll get through that. And so tonight's a night where we kind of just can relax. Take a deep breath, let out a big old sigh, and just watch something like we have done back in the days. So today I felt like we shouldn't stray too far from, tis the season. So I found something actually that I'm very excited to watch with you all. I watched a little bit of this on my own over the weekend, and because when I first heard about this, what we're going to watch tonight, I was just floored. I couldn't believe that somebody did this. And so I had to watch it, and I watched enough to be like, okay, this is going to be good to react to. So let me go ahead and pop it up on the screen there. Yeah, so you probably know what this is. This is a live stream done by Site42 on YouTube. And it is, of course, The Sherm is the purveyor of this channel. And it has special guest Billith, who I'm a big fan of, in no small part due to the fact that Billith is also on Twitch and does some streams. I think lately sort of turned the attention to video games. There was a lot of SCP discussion content going on Billith's channel, at least in somewhat of the remote past. So I was always very excited to listen to that. That was just a lot of fun. And so I became quite a big fan of Billith. Billith is just a very, very smart individual. You can tell has a really unique writing style, hyper conceptual, just like insanely technical, abstract concept work kind of guy. Sort of in the same sphere as Placeholder McDoctorate. I think they sort of deal in the same subspecialties. And a really underrated author overall. But more than that, just a fantastic personality to listen to and watch. Has more of a dry sense of humor, very subdued, presentation. Very contrasted to The Sherm here, who is the opposite, very eccentric, very extroverted. What's the opposite of dry humor? I don't want to say wet humor. Moist humor doesn't sound like that's the right way to use that. Anyway, but whatever the opposite of a dry sense of humor is, a florid sense of humor, I guess, that is The Sherm. So I thought this was going to be a really interesting setup. I misspoke on Friday night when we did our coverage of all of the first 31 7K contest entries posted chronologically in great detail. I misspoke and said that this was a live stream that Billith did, who had Sumerian on, and that was incorrect. This is obviously Site42 with The Sherm, who has Billith on, and Sumerian was here during the reading. So I wanted to correct myself and make that correction. So yeah, like I said, I kind of took a peek at this, and it didn't take me long to realize that I wanted to kind of watch it here. Like I said, you got really two contrasting personalities up here. And, quite honestly, Billith, like I said, somebody I like. The Sherm, I mean, I really don't have anything against The Sherm. I know that he thinks that I do, and certainly he has something against me. But, hey, I'm just here calling people out for hypocrisies, okay? So if you don't want to be called out, don't be a hypocrite. And honestly, it's nothing personal. I just call it like I see it, and I move on. So if one insult to you is enough to hold a grudge forever, I feel bad for you, man. But anyway, so this was going to be an interesting thing no matter what. And I actually think that The Sherm does a fantastic job here. We're not going to be listening to them read the SCP contest entries. That's a little dull. In fact, one of the reasons I was so surprised that this was a thing that happened was because when I started doing, the Weekend Collapsible basically started as a really misguided effort where I got on nightly and I read each of the new SCPs that were released that day. I read them, so that I could critique them. And that was just, I wanted to end everything after like 5 days of that. So just to hear that somebody read through all of these entries, I mean, that is a Herculean effort. I mean, so obviously you got to hand it to somebody. This is the kind of stuff that transcends personal grudges. I mean, I've got to applaud anybody who's doing this. It doesn't really matter who it is. So this is certainly worthwhile. Has a good number of views here and a lot of appreciation, and I think it deserves every little bit that it gets. But like I said, we're not actually going to be listening to them read the entries. I think that's a little boring. What I was really most interested in this video is that at the end of it, they offer a little bit of feedback, so they get done reading it and then they kind of chew on it for a little bit. And there are these really nice sort of, micro sessions of discussion and critique about these articles and the whatnots and the what do's and the in and outs of them that I thought were really, really great. In fact, one of the reasons I'm interested in this is because it's kind of in my ballpark, right? I mean, like that's what we do. We try to do. We don't read articles on the air, but we basically get the articles down and we talk about them. We critique them. We sort of reflect on them, commentary, if you will. So that sort of like, hit the right notes for me. And so I was really, really, really interested to watch their take of critique and kind of compare and contrast to what we're doing over here. How good is their critique? How does it stack up to ours? How does ours stack up to theirs? What can I learn from this? What do they do well? What don't they do well? So this was a really, really interesting thing for me to do. So what we're going to do tonight is basically skip through all the reads and just check out the, for lack of a better term, crit sessions that they do after each of these articles, okay? So without further ado, I've been ranting enough. Let me make sure that all my audio is plugged in and on board. I think we're coming through here. A lot of technical difficulties lately, by the way. If you tried to join us for SCP Meta this weekend, sorry, didn't work out. We were on stream with Harmony. Harmony was doing a cast-a-thon, I guess you could call it, all weekend for Dr. Sumerian. And as this was too, by the way, this reading all the contest entries for fundraising. And we tried to join that. It didn't work out. Just too much going on at once. My computer couldn't handle it. It crashed. We had a nice 10, 20 minutes of the show. We'll do the show on Sunday, this Sunday. So we'll just displace it a week. We'll pick up where we left off. So I think everything hopefully is coming in well. And then once again, apologies to Harmony. Her video on Friday night did not play the audio. That was my bad. So I fixed that problem in the last few days. So appreciate that. So let's get into it. What a great moment to come in on. I love this too much. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Here we go. Let's just listen to their banter before they get reading, and then we'll go. This is going to take a while. We'll be covering this for a while, probably by the end of the KCON. How you doing tonight? Good to see you. Thanks for joining, my one and only. So faithful. This show is basically for you. You know that? We had a lot of crows on the power lines on Friday night, I noticed. But we actually had some good participation there, too. Fern was there.
Perfect.
Lieutenant Flop showed up. It was really nice. Cozy.
It begins, says Sumerian.
It begins.
Good,
Billith has a cool style, too, doesn't he?
Woo! We're live, everybody. Hello.
Hold on, D-Sherm. Billith has a nice, cool style. You will never see a bill that flat, that long, that immaculate right there. Good bill.
Welcome to the Site 42 and Billith co-stream.
Yes, hello.
This is an interesting combo. I had to ask myself how this got started, and how this got arranged. I think it was probably because Billith hangs out with Sims so much. So maybe that I just wouldn't put Billith and D Sherm together. I'm really glad it happened though. A great contrast here. Great pairing.
We had several technical errors, so this is a format screw. stream in that the format is screwed, so we're just doing it live, everybody.
Oh man.
Correct.
You know, D. Sherm is a clever guy. He's not a, you know, I used to think he was not that bright, but you know, appearances can be deceiving.
Actually, I'm fine. Everything on my end is configured properly. It's just my camera is too powerful and it blocks up Sherman's internet, and everything just goes down. Yeah, we're actually doing this through tin cans now.
I hope you're reaching our vibrations, everyone. Are you
Yes.
reading?
Gotta keep those love good.
I am also going to go over to TikTok really quick. I am going to go live and tell everyone live on YouTube, go watch.
All right, cool.
Boom, get over here, people. The show has started.
We need more viewers, damn it. I'm happy with just one. You, my one and only.
I'm ready to do this. Are you ready to do this?
I am.
I'm not ready to do this actually.
They
This is
don't know what they're in for. They don't realize how hard this is going to be.
gonna be fun. This is gonna be a long endeavor.
It's not going to
Exactly.
be fun.
I apologize for being 15 minutes late, everybody, but I hope you realize we're going to be here for goddamn ever. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to be that long.
No, not at all. And it's gonna go by so fast. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yikes.
So let me hit y'all guys with the opening monologue.
No, it won't.
Basically put, every year, or now God, every 6 months,
No.
there's a 1,000 contest on the wiki.
That's not true. I have to correct him. It's been a year. It's been actually a little over a year. But what he's saying is true because the duration between 1,000 contests, K contests, is telescoping. It's taking less and less time. I think the quickest one was between 4 and 5, I think, or 5 and 6. But this last one between 6 and 7 actually was a little longer than one of those by a couple of months, I think.
The wiki gives away the 1,000 spot to the winner of a contest. All of the entries are themed around the contest theme. And every year, 6 months, maybe 3 months by the time we get too many people on this site, every time this comes around, I do not really pay attention to them at all. And the reason is because with a platform, I feel bad if I were to focus on one article and try to accidentally boost it, because I can't pay attention to all of them. But because we
That's a ginger beer for your ass right there.
brought the live
Spicy.
stream back, and because of the severe pain of our good buddy old pal Dr. Sumerian, this year we're doing something different. Instead of ignoring them all, we're going to read them all. No one can get mad at bias if we do them all.
That is true.
Yeah, and actually that means we won't have a lot of time to actually, break down each article, but we'll be able to give our fair and honest opinion.
Yeah,
I
well,
think.
that's what my show is for. It's gonna take not 12 hours at once, but 5 hours across 4 weeks.
Yes, Billith and I are both SCP authors. We know a little bit about the site, but this will not be in-depth critique and discussion because we've got over 80 of these to get through. Instead, we are going to read the article, do some dramatic acting. This is all cold reading because we...
Like I said, we're going to skip the actual reading, but D. Sherm is actually really, really impressive. I mean, obviously he's a thespian. Thespians are really intelligent people. I think people don't give them credit for that just because of how they phenotypically come off behaviorally. But they're brilliant. Brilliant actors are brilliant people on the whole.
We haven't seen any of them, so...
And he does a really good job. Like, for example, with Staffer's Luck of the Irish voice. He actually does a pretty good Irish voice. I was surprised. I'm impressed.
All of our theatrics are going to be improv. I've read two
I wonder how this guy did at Trumbauer. I bet he did good.
or three of them so far.
Yeah. Some of them I've seen, and I'm curious as to how we're going to tackle this. But
we'll give our overall thoughts, up vote or down vote, and then move on to the next one.
Right.
Love it.
Right.
Guayer, I hope that's how you say your name, Guayer. I'm going to say that until I'm corrected. Your question is a good question. Are we going to read them in chronological order? And the answer to that is yes. That is how they are posted on the wiki. It is how we are going to make sure that we cover them all by just gunning down the list. And if we
chronological posting order. I didn't sit down and map these out. I don't think that would be a good idea. And put them in actual chronological order. That'd be rough.
Ooh, that would be right. And so yes, in posting order, the way they are
Classic Billith humor. I love it.
listed on the page, the likelihood, because there's over 80 of these, is we're probably going to have to do this a second time next week, which will be
Yeah.
good to do a second stream and
Yeah.
get Dr. Sumerian more help.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Before
it.
we start reading the stories themselves, let's explain why we're doing a charity for Sim.
Right. Yeah. Sumerian, my good friend, he was in his house and a tree tried to kill him. And it failed, but it did take out a good portion of his home. And we're trying to get him out of there. It's actually, structurally, it's not in the best shape. We
I was in this storm system, so I don't know if y'all know this, but the LLC, Config Magazine LLC, is based out of Alabama. So that should give you an idea of how close I am to Dr. Sumerian. Not necessarily that you are always in the state that your LLC is registered in, mind you, but just to give you an idea. And I remember this storm system. I was in this storm system. We were very fortunate to not have any damage from this storm system because it wasn't a tornado. It wasn't like, it was just winds. And I remember it was Thursday night, the Thursday I decided to not do these streams anymore on Thursday night. And I'll never forget looking out the window. That was crazy.
We've been really happy with the response so far. There's been a lot of donations, and Sumerian's GoFundMe is looking on good, but we want people to keep going over there so we can make sure we hit the goal.
How much is he at now?
Surpass it for him so he gets a little bit extra out of it, because no one deserves to have a tree fall on them, let alone with intent of erasure. So he's doing fine. He didn't get hurt at all. He got some bumps and scrapes, but
Man.
he's as boisterous as ever.
See, look, this fundraiser is located near me.
So,
Thanks, guys.
The goal
Well, it's a good
of
thing I
the-
already told you that, because basically GoFundMe would have doxed me. By the way, GoFundMe doesn't care if they dox you. They're so if you have an account, like let's say PayPal, and you donate, I don't even know if these people know that their names are out here. Because wow, look at Affray Interactive. That's great news. Look, Harmony's there too. I mean, it'll Michael Peters. Okay, I thought it was Mitch Peters. Yeah, it'll just put your whole name out there. And I was like, no. And so I had to go and try to fix it. It took like an hour. Very unresponsive.
GoFundMe is in the general, it's 15,000 right now. We don't know that that's going to be the exact number that's necessary. It's likely going to be more XYZ as things change around. But our hope is that this fucking sucks, and maybe we can, as a
Sad
community,
music
make
in the
it
background.
so it doesn't suck so bad, and maybe he even comes out as a net positive that this happened, which would be pretty chill.
Yeah.
I think once again, if you ask Dr. Sumerian spiritually, I think he would say this is a net positive. All you have to do is read his 7K entry to surmise as much.
That'd be great.
If you're on TikTok, I'm right here with you, but I will not be monitoring the TikTok. What y'all want to do is you want to go to the Site 42 YouTube channel and watch the show, because then you can see my guest Billith.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can see all the fancy graphics. If you're just looking at me in a green screen, it's not nearly as visually appealing.
Cool graphics.
You're just looking at me in a green screen because I don't have it set up. It's just a green screen.
So without any further ado, why don't we get to the main event?
Absolutely.
The dictionary defines luck. Let me shrink that a little bit so it fits into the screen. Boom. Maybe gotta shrink it a little more. Boom.
Meh.
I gotta shrink that so much. Get in
Yeah.
there.
There you go. Sweet.
The dictionary defines luck as a force that brings good fortune or adversity.
He's got a cool looking browser. Wonder what he's got.
We have had the good fortune of over a decade of wonderful articles, content, and camaraderie on this site. Whether you are here by chance or fate, just know that we are lucky to have you here at the SCP Foundation. Since life is already full of chances and risks, why not try your luck for the SCP-7000 contest?
Yeah.
Writing and posting is open. You have 3 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to post your article if you wish to join in. This is why we're still probably going to do this next week too, so we can get everybody who is left behind.
Oof.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, RIP to the actual SCPs released like this past week and whatnot. This whole month. I mean, we personally on Friday nights are not going to cover those guys. I hate to tell you that. You know, I'm sure there's really good ones. It's just, I mean, it's just literally, it's not up to me. You know, it's up to how many people posted for this contest, and it's up to the people who posted during the contest regular SCPs. Like, I'm sorry. You know, if it was up to me, I'd be able to read every one. You know that.
But story number 1 on the list. Are these in the order of posting?
There's the collapsible. It's in the order of
Oh, yeah.
posting. Yeah, they go at the bottom.
Billith.
Wait a minute.
Click these. to see
Okay,
the
in
entry
order of posting. Hallelujah. Thank you.
I think we still need to go to the bottom.
Got to go to the bottom.
I think because I don't recognize.
I don't recognize a
Right.
lot of this. Yes, I know Rura's article was recently posted, so they're in reverse chronological.
Shout out to Rura. We have grown very distant, but there was a time, maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, where I was reading everything that Rura posted. Most of it is tales. I don't know. I mean, clearly Rura is writing SCPs now. Very active in SCP now, so I do wish them luck. I do hope they're doing well. But Rura is an incredibly talented writer. And actually, Rura was the one. You know, I don't like tales, right? Like I don't really read tales unless they're like really good, or like I think that I should read them. So, for example, I think it's like the best story never told, the prequel to Harry Blank's SCP Lucky for this contest. I think I am gonna have to go back and read that. But I rarely want to read a tale, but Rura's I wanted to read because they were so good. So good.
Order.
Correct.
All right, so starting at the bottom.
Can work with that. Yeah.
Started from the bottom now. Here we are.
Is that
We
that
got-
same song? Started from the bottom, now we hear.
Calibolds.
Oof.
Your Honor, League of Legends.
See, the good thing about this is that, you know, being a little behind is that we've covered all these articles already, so I certainly know them. I wouldn't want to listen to this and their review of it if I hadn't already read the article, I'll tell you that.
Right? Is that what it is? Let's see.
Starting
Your Honor,
up.
League of Legends. Yep. Perfect. Let's do that from memory.
Oh, that's why the page
name
looks funny.
stuck out. The name stuck out to me as potentially funny. So
For sure.
that's great. It's actually Scherf and Calibold.
All right, let me move this so it's an appropriate size for us. I'm going to be rearranging this browser for format for every article, I can tell already.
Yep. That's fine. You know, it's better than reading off your phone, I guess.
Please don't blow the picture
All
up
right.
of the
Currently
dude.
at a plus 54 by Scherf and Calibold. You want to take us from the top, Billith?
All right, now here's where we
and-
skip. If my
Regardless.
computer, okay, come on.
Marks.
It's sad when my phone
The first
skips more cleanly than.
Logs removed. It's you. It's your cue.
Mr. Beckett, I
um,
understand.
Let me do something real quick. This person says the loser should win. I was hoping that we would find one of those comments that has like timestamps for everything. I would totally go through this and do it. I just think because obviously I would be posting under the Config Magazine YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that that comment would be deleted by the Sherm anyway, even if I took the time to do it. But I'd totally do it otherwise. That's the only reason I haven't done it, actually.
That your band
Pauses for a brief bash.
All right. Yeah. We know this
Legends is a-
article. We know this article.
Legal codes demanded that the men grab
Alright, moving along. See,
Of all-
timestamps would be nice here, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it?
Agent Bell. These are attached.
Should have written this down, but that's okay.
for a second. I need
All right, so
known.
they're done.
Members of the jury would result in such postmortal judgment.
up for
Oh, well, doctors of the wider theological implications of the relationship between the afterlife and League of Legends is unknown. Members of the Department of Tactical Theology are currently analyzing religious texts in order to determine what doctrine would result in such postmortal judgment. Wow. Well,
So, I mean, I hate to say this, but, you know, if you follow every article on the wiki, you kind of pick up on how people incorporate other people's ideas that have just posted those ideas. So, for example, Fo, or what is it? PHO, Row. That's a recent article by Tianhuni that has the exact premise of that last line. It has the exact same idea in the right smack dab in Tianhuni's article, where it's like, hey, we have no idea what kind of religious system would result in this kind of afterlife. And that was one of the cooler lines of that article. And so now here it is recycled, basically, lifted wholesale and put right at the end of this one as the ending. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, let's give them some grace and assume that it's an episode of Cryptonesia, which, if you don't know, is not a reference to cryptocurrency. Cryptonesia is the appearance and conscious of memory images which are not recognized as such, but which appear as original creations. Sometimes you read something and you forget that you read it somewhere and you think it's your own idea. That's what Cryptonesia is. Let's just pretend like it's that, because otherwise they've basically gutted a Tanhoney article that was posted in the last month, let's say, and taken out the best part and then slapped it down on their own article.
All right, I need to go back to the top for a second. I need to read the description one more time, because
Sure.
let me read this out loud for myself, because I need to make sure I understand this.
I also know something that might help if you
Goodness, this ginger beer.
don't know that term. It's been used before.
Let me pause for
Probabilistic.
a paid advertisement. This is Fever Tree, which doesn't sound like a great brand. Ginger beer. It's not alcoholic. It's called beer, but it's basically just like root beer, but it's ginger beer. And, no artificial sweeteners. It's only got like 80 calories in it, but I mean, hot dang, that thing is spicy. Makes me cough every time. It's like a battle every sip. I usually lose.
Bureaucratohazard affecting the laws, regulations, or codes of conduct of various institutions or groups. These can include governments, corporations, religious orders, and organized crime syndicates, among other organizations, as well as relationships or friend groups, as long as some form of stated or implied moral code exists within their framework. Affected codes through coincidental interactions between several individual rules, criminalize or disavow individuals who participate in the multiplayer online battle arena video game League of Legends. Punishments or retribution for playing League of Legends often tends to... Okay. I think I got it.
So this is one... Okay, I'm not trying to bash their setup, but that's one part about this that doesn't lend itself well to, like, targeted, like, really attentive crit. Is because it's like, once again, it's like slam poetry. You basically got to get the article on the first listen, and if you're doing it in this fashion, you basically have to react just on the what you can retain after a superficial read through. Whereas when I do my show, I'm paying very close attention to the article. I'm taking notes as I go, combing, fine comb kind of stuff, And so, I mean, I'm not blaming them. I'd be the same way if I had to read an article and then give you all my thoughts on it immediately. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I got to go back and see how this connects there and stuff like that.
I was adjusting the size of the screen while you were reading that opening.
Right.
And the density of the terms left me completely blank on what was happening for a good long while.
Kind of got to need to know that first part.
There's an early footnote in SCP Integer that just says bureaucratohazards are a subset of semiohazard affecting bureaucratic systems.
I'm a geek about words, and I love like portmanteaus and like synthesizing new words. I love that shit. If you ever go read my blog, particularly Config works, I'll typically throw in words that don't exist because I like them and I want them to. But I mean, I don't know about bureaucratohazard, honestly. Just because you can invent a word, sometimes maybe that doesn't mean that you should. I don't know.
Hazards being the space by which information can travel through symbols and signs, which is like words or actions or anything. It means
kinetoglyph was a good one from Mortos.
Of communicating info. It's a type of info hazard, I would say.
How strange.
Man, the escalation on this one was pretty funny. I like the subversion with the United Nations their assembly. That was so funny.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
and you know, like it definitely, yeah, like the ending was a little odd, like that I guess the implication being that it is infecting these other systems of government in the afterlife, since it's a bureaucratic hazard. Like, I guess that's the gist. I don't know.
Yeah, no. League of Legends players go to hell. That's.
Yeah.
They're like, they kind of get to the bottom of the article. They're like, and bottom, like, you know, figuratively speaking, they're like, League of Legends players bad. Not a lot of meat on them bones, huh? Just a lot of spices put on top of the thin strip of meat here. One of those spices being Tanhoney's article, Row.
It's funny. It's so there, and I can't taste it right now. There's something about it that.
Well,
I got to use that. That's good.
I think it's the other way around, right? So they're very rarely pulled to the left pit and inside. Yeah. So,
that's
so
the
they
opposite.
all go to heaven. Yeah, they all go to heaven, basically. The futuristic city that is on the Shining Hill that is analogous to whatever that is.
I had that backwards.
Yeah. I think that would be the natural conclusion given the actual anomaly. You know, like it's turning systems negatively towards it. So I guess either like it doesn't impact it fully. I don't know. I don't know.
Huh.
That's
Little bit of a head scratcher here.
That's a strange one. A good start, though, I guess.
I guess.
Wait a minute. Reading the
I guess.
suit. Several keys are attached. Individuals approach. He holds a key toward each person.
Oh, gosh.
Blah, blah, blah. City on the hill. Closed. Various locations.
So Harmony did a video. Let me just pull this up. Just 1 second here. It's going to be worth it. We're not going to watch it, but I want to show you this video. I watched it just tonight. It's been out for like 4 days. I'm such a bad friend. I didn't realize that it had already been out. But this is a nice little video that she has on her YouTube, and it's called.
Yes.
Here we go. Config Thought, which I think is great. The SCP-7000 contest is the weakest KCON so far, and it's going to get worse. Where Harmony talks about how basically... let's just watch it. Fuck it. Let's just watch it.
SCP-7000 contest is really just not doing it for me like the old ones have. I think we've peaked with SCP-5000. I think that was the best that the KCONs are ever going to be. And I think that after that it's just going to be, 6K wasn't as good as 5K, and 7K is definitely, from the looks of it, just the result of the contest, no matter who wins. The mere fact that this new series is going to be starting off with an overwhelming avalanche of mediocrity, where these articles are slapdash, run out, not trying to win. It's uncompetitive. People are posting stuff, but they're not posting stuff to try to win. They're just posting stuff because they want to get into the next series first. So you're not having that same level of the competitive spirit where it really brings out the best in everybody, where you would think having 100-something entries already, like there's an overwhelming amount of entries. It blows my mind how many there are compared to previous ones. I was expecting, I thought I was being generous when I said that I was predicting at least 100 entries. I think that might have been extremely conservative now, looking at just the pace that things are being posted at now. But at the same time, all these things, it's not like all these writers are bringing their best game. People are just writing something to write something, and then posting it, which is fine. You can do that, but it's a definite sea change compared to like the 1,000 contest, the 2,000 contest, the 3,000 contest, and so on. These earlier ones where there really was that competitive spirit and people were pitting themselves against each other and trying their best to outclass their peers and their contemporaries. And I miss that. I really feel like we've lost something when these contests are no longer about being competitive with your peers and trying to make the best containment fiction you possibly can, but they're just about getting a number in the new series so you can be there right when it starts and then post articles that are exactly the same as the ones you wrote for the contest until the next one rolls around. There's nothing special about it. There's no distinction. Why even call it a contest now? Who's contesting it?
Damn.
It's whack.
Get him. Get him. Oh, shit. Yeah, so, all right. There's one thing that was said there that I really agree with. I agree with most of that, for sure. There's one that I really agree with, which is that, it doesn't feel competitive, and it isn't. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is that Harry Blank was announced the winner as soon as he posted his article. I'm not kidding. If you go to the comments of Harry Blank's article, which was like posted, I guess, the second day of the contest, I mean, people are like, hey, this is the winner, period. You know, and so whether that like was justified as your own opinion, I happen to think that it was. But that's another reason it's not competitive, is because Harry Blank nuked everybody immediately. The contest is over. I mean, I hate to tell you this. You know, we're doing on Config Magazine, we're doing like a daily top 13. You know, I did that because I thought this was going to be kind of exciting. I was wrong. This is not going to be exciting. What you see in the top 13, and there's going to be some movement there, but it's not going to change much. That's really it. You might as well end the contest right now. I mean, you won't because Harmony's right. It is about the number that these people want. But more than that, people are submitting things like this article by Callie Bold and Scherf, not with the intention to compete. This is not a competing article. This article is not sitting at the adult table of this contest. It's sitting at the kids table of this contest. And it's happy to do that because it's not there for that. It's not here to compete. The authors of this article and so many others that put an article up on the contest for this contest, they're doing it because they know that KCONs are opportune. They are ripe upvote harvesting moments. They don't care if they win. I mean, they'd be nice. Sure, they get more upvotes. But what they really care about is that they know that this is going to bring a lot of eyes, a lot more eyes than usual. And this is going to be good for their upvote totals. That's really what it probably boils down to. I think that explains why people are putting so many articles up here that they don't even intend to compete. You know, I mean, you have a piece like Serendipity by Radiger, which we'll get to, maybe not tonight, but they explicitly say, like, I'm not trying to win. Like, I just want to get a certain number or, I mean, I think no one's going to be this honest about it, but I think a lot of people are doing it because they know it's a grab all. It's like running into a store and grab everything you can off the shelf, except it's upvotes, and that's really why people do it. They don't, they're like, well, it'd be great to win, but, gosh, I'm going to get a bunch of attention. This article by Callie Bold and Scherf wouldn't have gotten as many upvotes as it's getting now if it wasn't part of this contest. And this is a garbage article. I mean, these guys on the screen right here are spraining themselves trying to extend to get compliments out for this thing.
Futuristic city, immense pit, very rarely an individual.
Yada, 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 yada. They get really confused here.
To hell.
They get really
clean
confused.
Cut, then my brain is allowed.
It's very rarely.
Honestly, I think this is more clean cut than my brain is allowing it to be right now, just because we're just
maybe.
getting started and I'm not warmed up
I don't know.
That's a great line. Clean cut. I'm going to use that one too. So far, I've gotten 2 lines from D. Sherm. Chewing on it. I can't taste it yet. Love that. Clean cut. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little.
I'm gonna lift it just like Callie Bold and Scherf did from Tanhoney's Row.
Ambiguous, but I mean, like I think you're right. I think that's the intended interpretation. So yeah.
Hey, if anybody's just wondering, like I don't know. I mean, we got a lot of attention on Friday night, by the way, in our stream. Not that I care about that too much. But I just want just because there's going to be there's a lot of runoff attention, from the KCON. We've been doing this for 4 months. I'm not doing this because of the contest. We do this to the most mundane week of the SCP. But I just want people to know that if you happen to think that I'm a good critic, just understand that it costs quite a lot of work. Not only in reading the articles and doing it very meticulously, but like I study other critics. I study critics. I listen to what they say and I go, oh, that's a great way to think about that. Or, oh, that's a great idea. I'm constantly looking to other critics to take notes and try to find ways to be better at it. So just FYI. That's what I'm doing here with V. Sherm. I'm collecting phrases that I like from him, extracting phrases. These are good ones. And I write all these down, by the way.
I'm going to go ahead and give that one an upvote.
Either way, this is entertaining to me.
I mean, how honest can you be about an article like this on a live stream on this channel with this many people watching it? You can't. I think at some point it sort of butts up against how honest you can be about an article.
It is.
So that's one of the benefits of my show. Is I get to be as honest as I want, And unfortunately, you know, that people don't always like that, but, you know, I wouldn't trade that for the world. I certainly wouldn't trade that for, you know, 2,500 viewers.
Wild as a concept to me, just like, it's one of those, it's almost trolling. It's almost a little like ribbing.
It's a great way to put it. Beverage time. Neo Lol Foundation basically is one big episode of trolling. It's ironically trolling a site that's supposed to have high standards, and it's getting away with writing very low standard things. That's the trolling. And they're doing a pretty good job at it. There's a part of me that really wants to applaud them for that. They're doing a good job.
And it does its job very well. And that's something that's a very big thing for me when I look at articles. I just, even if it's not my flavor of thing that I like,
so good.
I like it to, if it does its job correctly.
Yep.
And this definitely does. It hits its mark.
Yeah.
That is a great, great thing to say. That is such a mature thing to say from D. Sherm. Excellent job. I feel the same way about Harry Blanks. It's certainly not my style. It's certainly not what I want to read, but for what it's trying to do, it's excellent.
I think the only reason I didn't understand that is because I was confused about the whole thing from the beginning.
I mean, fair.
But I will upvote this. I liked it, and I like the humor and the trial. We went through the trial. We went even in the afterlife. They're boned.
Well, okay. One other thing is like,
Boned.
how is it a probable? I guess because it only affects certain League of Legends players. Is that?
How is it tie into the theme of luck? That's a great question, Billith. Let me answer that for you. It doesn't. It doesn't. This article was premeditated. Might as well not even looked at the contest because they knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to be like meme lords and write about League of Legends being evil, and then fuck what the theme was. They'll just throw it in there somewhere.
Why it's probably?
I mean, look at the first description. SCP, you can see it from here, hopefully on the screen. SCP-7000 is a probabilistic bureaucrat hazard affecting the laws, regulations, and yada yada. They just simply threw the word probability in there. That's it. It really doesn't, functionally, it doesn't have any probabilistic mechanism behind it whatsoever. It has zero to do with luck or probability. And yet they got away with putting it in there because, you know, if you make a dumb joke, that's really all that people will notice. That's really it. You can just dangle the keys over here and, you know, snatch the wallet out of their back pocket while you're doing it.
Probabilistic?
I mean, that was my question, actually. You hit the nail on the head. Why is it a probabilistic bureaucratohazard?
It isn't.
It affects laws, regulations, codes of conduct of various institutions and groups, and it turns them against League of Legends players.
Not probabilistically, definitively.
So
But it doesn't do that by like a certain percentage. I don't think.
Exactly.
Like, I'm just looking. Like you know, it feels like the word probabilistics is added on there.
It's shoehorned in there. It's stuffed down the throat of the article so that it can nominally pass the test of having something to do with luck when it doesn't. It's really tricked a bunch of people. These guys are too smart for it, but most other people probably don't notice.
If I take it out, like it's a bureaucrat hazard.
Right. If you take it out, the sentence's meaning doesn't change at all. What does that tell you?
Bureaucrat hazard. It's like literally. It's.
Neither does the articles. What does that tell you?
I don't know how you would word that any different for a phenomenon associated with luck.
It's almost like the writing standards of the wiki have gotten so low that you can basically just pretend that your article is about something nominally and get away with it. I wonder where the standards must be for that to happen.
yeah, is the probability that it hits because it hits all League of Legends players because it changes the laws.
Right.
Yeah.
What
but I
what
guess
about it is
because
probabilistic?
It didn't all happen at once.
God, man.
You could say that there is a chance of it happening. Maybe that chance goes up over time.
And this is why I lost a lot of respect for Calibold. And I didn't, obviously Scherf is a new author to me, so I can't say I lost respect for Scherf. But I lost a ton of respect for Calibold because, I mean, you're better than this. You put something up that doesn't have anything to do with the theme, and you sugarcoated it in a stupid joke to try to get it passed through the security check. I mean, how dumb do you think we are, man? Apparently you think we're pretty dumb. You know what? Apparently it worked. I guess I have to eat some crow.
Because it's not like I said. If everyone all of a sudden, like all at once started, hating on League of Legends players, then I would say that it's a 100% chance.
Nah, there's a difference between staggeredness and instantaneousness and probability. They're totally different things. Something can have no probabilistic component to it and be staggered over time.
Of it occurring. It's not
Billith is ripping joints off of bones to help this article meet it halfway.
probabilistic, but I guess I guess the lack of like talking about the actual probabilistic side of the anomaly is throwing me off. But
That's because there's nothing to say.
if I look at it objectively, there is a chance that the phenomenon just doesn't happen, because I'm assuming
No.
a lot of people are talking about League of Legends when this first case happens. Like, why is he selected over somebody else?
It's an admirable attempt from Billith. Very diplomatic of you.
I guess is the
Maybe.
right. Like,
I
don't
give
know.
it I give it a C minus. That effort is pretty good.
See, that is one thing that I've been concerned with, is the inclusion of luck into an already existing phenomena. I mean,
Yeah, that should be something we look at as we think, like, how is luck intrinsic to this article? How does it work?
Great way to
with
put
the-
it.
because if this is
Excellent.
on the main list, I definitely would upvote it. But we're not voting on just
I think whatever you think of D. Sherm, everybody's jealous of his ability to flip his pen like that. I never learned how to do that. That's pretty cool.
the main list. We're voting on what we think should be SCP-7000, right?
See, I think it's the opposite. When
Yeah.
I approach these, I actually just upvote them as articles, and I kind of hope that everyone does that, and then the best one will win that way. I don't really think about it in terms of the competition.
Fair enough.
Right.
I guess I've never gone through every single one before, so that's
It's like saying I just enjoy what's on the field. I don't really notice that this is the national championship game.
yeah. That makes more sense when you're taking them all as one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then you get, I mean, if it's supposed to be about the article independent of the contest, then why are you adjudicating it in terms of the contest? Why are you including a critique point about how intrinsic the theme is to the article? I think it has to enter the picture somewhere. How well it incorporates the theme has to probably enter into the adjudication process in this context, doesn't it? Unless you lobotomize your awareness of the contest as context.
All right, gang.
All that to say, nobody. I mean, D. Sherm is also trying to help out the staff because the staff is trying to push that as like a norm. It's never going to work. No one ever does that. Everybody says to themselves, "Can I see this as SCP-7000?" They don't go, "Ba-derp, I like it. +1." That's not what they do because they're smart. Because they're not dumb people.
Real quick before we move on to the next one, remember we are doing this for our
Y'all hear this music they have in the background? It's so ominous and spooky.
buddy Dr. Sumerian, whose house tried to kill it. He's a it now.
He's an
sorry.
it.
The house is the it. It tried to kill
Yeah.
him, but it missed.
Yeah.
Luckily, are refreshing the GoFundMe now. We were at 25.58, and as it refreshes, and my internet's nice and slow. Oh, no, it's
2558.
good. We're still at 25.58.
Oh, man.
So no donations at SCP.
How
Get
awkward.
on it, everybody. Links
How
in the
awkward.
description.
There was 13 recent donations, so it's still it's going. But yeah, there was a little bit of a lull there. It's fine.
I donated $200 to be top donor, and then Afrake.
All right.
Rough.
Oh wait. We
Afrake
got to hear
came
this.
at it and,
Oh, we got to hear this.
donations, so it's still it's going. But yeah, there was a little bit of a lull there. It's fine.
I donated $200 to be top donor, and then Afrake came at it and topped me. The bastards, you generous bastards.
Rough. I'm glad that you. I'm happy that you did so, but at the same time, it's not about being top donor.
Oh, it isn't, is it? Unless you're Config Magazine, in which case they remove the ability for people to see who the top donor was so that we don't get credit for it. Except then.
All right, here we go into
Really happened. I'm not kidding.
round 2. Clicking to see the entries in order of posting. Go down to the bottom.
Perfect.
We are now doing
He should probably just right click so that he doesn't have to do that operation every single time. He just closes the tab and he's right back to where he was.
SCP-7000, Luck of the Irish by Staffer.
Is the T silent? Not to me.
A lot of people don't realize that Luck of the Irish is a bad thing.
The author here doesn't recognize that. I didn't either, honestly.
We'll have to see.
What an
Now we're
image.
about to find out.
What an image.
All right.
Look at
From
that.
the top,
Zoom in
once
on
I
that
get
guy.
the browser the right size to make it nice and pretty.
Yeah, Staffer's entry was in the lead for the first like 3 days, and then Harry Blanks was posted. And I think Harry Blanks got like 100 plus in a day, which is not easy to do. And it never looked back. Never looked back.
SCP-7000.
All right, we can skip all this. Let's see. This is a relatively short article. How you doing?
I know that. I'm just gonna.
Once again, D. Sherm does a good job with the character voices here. I was
27, but
really impressed.
causing her to
Certainly is good at what he does. You can't bash him for that.
do a sudden.
I can just bash him for being a hypocrite, but he's really good at what he does, though.
Arrived here.
If you don't know what I mean about him being a hypocrite, go to my blog, lackoflepers.medium.com, and you will see an article titled "The Rubber Exposed
Generation-
Exposed."
Planted over its grave. Aww.
That was cute.
That was cute.
I liked that. Very
That was
heartfelt,
cute.
very-
Early on.
That was cute.
When it started, this guy's just abnormally lucky. I was like, all right, very simple concept. You're gonna have to do something.
I like how the caption of this image where you live. Hey, I'm back. The power flickered out. Let me make sure that I got all my shit.
I really appreciate you helping me out with this makeup.
Yeah, that was an ad. The power flickered. Power flickered. So we're back. We're back. Really need to get some kind of like backup generator, you know, so that doesn't happen. Let's see. Where were we? Where were we? We know.
Stuck, causing her to add twice the normal amount of whipped cream.
Yeah. By the way, this twice. Let me go back to this. There was a lot of moments into Staffer's article that didn't make any sense. It was almost like that song "Ironic" from what's her name, Alanis Morissette, where nothing in it is actually ironic. The things that Staffer list here at times are in no way issues of luck. Like, you know, hey, he goes to a bar, orders his hot chocolate, and the barista says, "Must be your lucky day because it's the first time since you were here that hot chocolate is on special." You know, I don't really know. That's like not really. And then like basically the barista is preparing the drink. the whipped cream can gets stuck, causing her to add twice the normal amount of whipped cream. Like, how does that make any sense? How does the Foundation know the normal amount of whipped cream that this cup and bean place serves its guests? Is it a rolling average of how much do they measure so that they can see how much this person got and then know that the quantity is doubled? Did they measure how much was on it before the guy started sipping it? That's kind of weird. It just doesn't make any sense the second you decide to give it a little more thought. Doesn't work.
People now they're
And this was actually supposed to be a J article before Stafford decided to change it.
you do
I think there's moments of it that sort of vestigially speak to the J designation that was initially going to be on here, and it just doesn't quite click in those moments. There's actually several of those in the article.
is it so?
Anyway, I was
Glad,
going to
like-
say before the power went out that the image. I love how the image the image caption has to specify that it's the guy smiling, as if we didn't know that. Like, oh, he's smiling. Oh, like, what are you calling the guy ugly? We know when he's smiling. Goodness. Strange image caption. Once again, the more you think about these things, I don't know, it's like the less sense they make.
Cute husband. Hooray. They early on when it Terry. Aw.
That was
What?
cute.
That was cute.
I liked that. Very
That was
heartfelt.
cute.
That was cute.
Early on when it started, this guy's just abnormally lucky. I was like, all right, very simple concept. You're going to have to do something interesting to make me like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did by making him a sweet old guy with cute husband. Hooray.
That was a good job.
I think I sort of called it when I was like, oh, he's neutralized and he's buried in a regular cemetery.
That's one thing about containment fiction that people who don't understand it or who are used to writing traditional stories would kind of be probably gobsmacked by. They think it was the most alien thing. Like, wait a minute. So you tell people where you're going with the article in the Conprox, just like this one. Like, you tell them exactly how this is going to end. You give the ending away up front with the containment procedures. Weird. But that's just how we roll, and it actually works pretty well.
And like I read his effect, I kind of like was retroactively thinking, he probably like chose to not have his powers or something like that. And then like I was thinking that he was just gonna get like accidentally killed by something, like just some random occurrence. But that would have been a little bit of a tonal whiplash for what was to follow. So I'm glad that he didn't.
All right, I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
I'll
there's
give that one.
no tonal whiplash, but there certainly are tonal potholes along the ride of this article that cause you to sort of like, it's not like compression fraction where the pothole hits, but it's enough to jostle the bladder.
My
Yeah.
upvote.
I'll give that an updoot for sure.
Doop doop doop.
Checking in on Dr. Sumerian. Make sure you go to the pal who knows their house.
Yeah.
All right.
Luckily, you can see the round hair multiple times.
All right.
Next.
Okay, so this one is, man, you got to zoom out. Yeah, I get that you're trying to fit the thing in your window, but zoom out, man. This is a good one. This is The Hunger Season by Big Sloth on My Face.
Very dark format. Ooh.
Yeah, there's no sidebar. There's
Well, it's
interesting.
hidden.
I gotta shrink this.
You can pull it up. I actually do like that feature. The
No
menu
sidebar.
that lets you pull up the
Yeah, I
sidebar.
agree. Because you know why I like it? It's because it adds to the immersion, right? Doesn't make a lot of sense. You got a big old sidebar there, I guess.
One of the nicer features that you can add.
Yeah.
With a theme. Cool.
I agree.
All right, take us away, buddy.
Very cool.
All right.
All right, so we'll skip all this. This is a relatively long article. I really still like this one a lot. I think it's quite good. Once again, it was the first article certainly that we came across that is sitting at the adult table, the big kids table. All the other ones so far, and for a few after this, are kids table articles that aren't even trying to win.
This is what
They're there for different reasons. They're not there to compete. It's like seeing a football team on the field that just wants to do jumping jacks and look like idiots. They want to chase butterflies around with a net on the field. In football attire.
continental.
Yeah, this was a good article.
Well, now
I think it'll land in the top 13. I really do.
compared to
It might get bumped out though. I hate to say that.
expected. One instead of
Do-do-do.
received from primary team. Heavily cognito hazardous message consists.
Wow, this is a long one. Let's see. Maybe I
declared.
should just still going here. Still going here.
All right, and the pair successfully.
I wonder if
It felt like
I wonder how
Sure,
long
you know.
into this reading process
Alternate universe.
they're going to
IR stuff.
realize that this was a big mistake.
A lot of stuff I like. Upon waking, all those who experience the dream recall hearing the phrase "grant our wish" spoken in their native language. Okay.
That was one of the better sentences of this article, and one of the better sentences of the contest. Really, in my opinion, top 10 sentence was in this article, where I think it's the last line of the Comprox, where it's like, SCP-7000's wish must not be granted. That's just a great hook.
Little white space down here. There's nothing hidden there. Okay. Nope.
Billith is a careful reader. He sees white space, and he's been conditioned. He's like, huh?
All right. Wow.
Well,
That was a that was like reading a textbook. There's a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff I liked.
hit me with a little bit of that Armageddon vibe.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of the stuff was a little wordy. I feel like the team probably would have come up with a some sort of nickname for the HECIR rather than just saying.
You hear this music in the background? Holy
acronym
crap.
Every single time, but
Perfect for this article.
Maybe
Not so much for the Testaffer one.
they use that. That's fine.
The way this goes, very like. This reads to me like an alternate universe when day breaks a little bit.
Yeah, I got that kind of vibe as well.
Structurally speaking, the thing that sticks with me is that it is long.
It's very long. Yeah, I feel like
And-
the second
Get
collapsible
used to it.
could have been pared down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the imagery is very good. They clearly had this whole thing mapped out. In their head.
Yeah, that's a great point that Billith makes. You can always tell, when somebody has constructed something from a top-down fashion like this, just with a lot of thematic, tightness. It's a very tight article conceptually. Everything is connected. Everything reinforces everything else. The article knows exactly where it's going. You don't really get that vibe from the Testaffer. You don't really get that vibe from the Your Honor. Once again, this is the first article that came by with a bunch of talent and ability, I think, that is geared towards winning.
I like the extra, the exoplanet. That stuff is very cool. Like the descriptions of that, and the descriptions of the patterns and the dreams. It's pretty cool. I wondered the end here with the final dream sequence, that like most of Earth's remaining population experienced the transmission. If they had that sort of technology, you'd think that they would have used it earlier on, since it seemed like it got stronger and stronger as the comet approached Earth. It felt like that they had this suddenly, like, I guess it's because it's 11 of them, or 200 comets. They're all coming at you. I guess because the combined power of that could be enough to hit everyone at once. I don't know.
Yeah, because here comes round 2, the sequel.
Yeah. So thank you, Looney. I will hydrate. But yeah. I liked it. I liked the story. I liked everything. I do think that it could have been pared down a little bit. It's a little bit.
Yeah, they really I was with the story, but
Right.
a lot of it feels like it would fare better if it was in a format that we. I almost feel like the only time I really got excited by it was as all of humanity's done and we're counting down the last miles. Then I was like, okay, I'm getting the suspense is ratcheting up.
Right. I wasn't expecting them to prevent the
to save the day at the end.
Yeah.
It's a very, I think what they're trying to get at here is it's a very Hollywood formula that really is behind this article.
guess like, there's that subversion,
And it does it well. I mean, once again, going back to what D. Sherm said, good comment. I mean, it does it well.
but there's also like, there's what you expect to happen just like logically. But I guess that's a probabilistic set of it. It's like at the nick of time they
Right. What are the chances?
came through. Right.
I say, is that what the luck is? That
No, I mean the probabilistic. I mean, yeah. So it's the thing is that it's luck. It's not just probabilistics. Because there is like, oh yeah, it affects a certain portion of people as well. But the luck, I guess, would be in like how they got out of this seemingly impossible situation. Like right in the nick of time.
Yep.
I don't know.
Bill nails it.
here we go again. Oh boy.
Although I do think that that's maybe one of the weaker integrations into the theme.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was Apollyon that I read. This one was basically Apollyon, but Tiamat. I'm going to see I have the comprehensive list of esoteric classes, and unless you know off the top of your head, because I have it
No.
up here. So
Does anybody?
let's see, Tiamat.
That's kind of the problem with these esoteric secondary classes. The point of the classification system is to make it such that you don't have to go look up what it means. Like, that's really the whole point of something like Keter, Euclid, and SAFE. And so, I mean, look, I'm not even like too resistant to, these disruption classes and these risk classes. Like, I get it, that there's room for that, conceptually in this whole thing. They can be used well. But I mean, once again, I mean, I've been reading this stuff for a while and I still don't have, it memorized. I mean, it's not a passive thing. You'd have to actively, Keter, Euclid, and SAFE. I mean, you don't really have to memorize that. It kind of comes very naturally. You really have to almost studiously apply yourself to these disruption classes and these risk classes to actually understand what they mean without looking them up again. And just forget it when it comes to the secondary classes, these esoteric ones particularly. I think it defeats the purpose of why this exists in the first place. I mean, mostly it's just empty caloric content. I mean, you don't really understand what it is. How many people are going to go look up Tiamat? Billith is. That's it.
Here we are. If item possesses an immediate threat to humanity, but can be contained via open warfare or other veil-breaking operations. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see
it's
that.
not bad. It's not bad. I'd say maybe 5% of these esoteric classes actually have a decent justification behind them. That kind of sounds like one.
The crosslinks were pretty mild. I saw the 5001 biomechanical structure. Right. Interesting. I have yet to read 5001. I think I need to read that. 1396 I've read before though. That's the satellite weaponry. What's your verdict?
my when I come to voting, I like to think, A, do I like it? And if I don't like it, is it at least good enough to deserve to be on the site? And
That's a great criteria set.
I think this deserves to be on the site.
Great.
This is
Yeah.
not my cup
I
of tea,
do.
but it did its job. I can see all the moving parts.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say that this is too wordy because I write wordy things all the time. It's
Right.
I like putting a lot of science and a little jargon and stuff in my articles. Not always, but I do like doing that. So taken as it is, like it feels like a report, like a very dry analytical report of what happened.
And yet it's got a great story. It's got emotion to it. That's really what containment fiction is supposed to be.
They went
This is a big boy article right here.
through all the steps, every single line. It just felt like it was presented as a clinical report, and it was a good one. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of a story I read way back in the day where it was the first SCP written by someone who wanted to join the community, and they gave it to me for crit, but they were a PhD. And so it was the most legitimate technical document version of SCP.
Hey, a PhD is not a crown of wisdom. I can tell you about some really, really dumb PhDs.
And I'm sitting here like, clinical tone is not quite.
You can be a really hard worker and get a PhD.
PhD level because it's really hard to read that. I am a theater dropout, so you got to tone that down a little bit.
That doesn't mean anything. I'm not trying to get on to the SHRM, but a theater dropout, there's no reason why a theater dropout wouldn't be smarter than a PhD. Okay, if you think that that's a strange thing to hear from me, then I think you got your wires crossed. You're looking at it completely in the wrong way.
For me.
Yeah, that's fair. So Sumerian says that this is going to be possibly the shortest we're going to find for the next 10 articles or so. So looking forward to that.
He's kidding, but he's not.
Well, I don't think that's true because I think the next one is Radiger.
All right, we'll stop there. So we're about 18 minutes in tonight, so we went a little longer just because of I think I started a little late. It took me a second to get on here, and then of course we had the brownout, so that kind of delayed things. But we'll stop there. So yeah, I really am looking forward to this. I think we'll move a little quicker next time we do this next week. But we may be chewing on this for quite a while. I think so. Yeah, I mean it's really a lot of fun to get into the nuts and bolts of the 7K. I really enjoyed this kind of coverage. And I like to see other people do it as well. So I really appreciate this. I think that they do a fantastic job, actually, of commenting on an article. They're very, very good commentators, and they've been around for a while. I know the SHRM has been around for a long time, and I think Billith is pretty into the site. I don't know how long Billith has been around, but a while for sure. Their 001 is relatively old, I think. So anyways, thanks for joining tonight. The next time we'll be on will be Friday, and we will be doing another 30 or so of the 7,000 contest entries in deep dive detail, crit and review. And I've mapped out one of the good things about posting ending is that we now know exactly how many articles we have to get through by the end of the voting period. So I did the math, and if we cover about 30, 31 per week, we'll have them all covered by the time voting ends, and that's the goal. So once again, very sorry to the SCPs, the normal non-7K SCPs that are being posted this month. Sorry. We got bigger fish to fry. I really personally, I don't think that the wiki should have shut down, but I wouldn't be mad at them if they did for this month, just to focus on the 7K. But anyways, appreciate it. Join us on Friday. We'll do that again. That should be a good time. The stream will probably last 6 hours, something like that, something crazy like that. But appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. We do this every Tuesday night where we kind of casually just hang back and watch some stuff and let other people talk for a change a little bit. I still like to talk a lot. But yeah, join us once again on Friday. And then on Sunday, we'll try to do the aborted SCP Meta Presents Config Call-In show that we didn't get to do on Sunday. So once again, thank you so much for joining. Always look forward to hanging out with you, and I appreciate your attendance here for sure. So this has been SCP-CRNP, a.k.a. Snurp, and a.k.a. Lack of Lepers as well. Hope you have a great night. I'll see you later. Take it easy.